This Wing Collar Bubu Kaftan gown looks expensive, but it's easier to sew than you might think. So in this video, I'm going to guide you through step by step on how to achieve it. And please watch till the end because the finishing makes all the difference. So let's get started. So for us to start, we are going to place our pattern paper on fold, and then we have total of 16.5 for the paper we have. So now we are going to take 7 inches. This 7 inches we are marking. After marking it, we are going to draw a straight line. These 7 inches will serve as the collar you are seeing. Okay, so mark 7 inches, draw a straight line. After that, the next thing we are going to do is to take the full back measurement. Now the full back we are working with is 8 inches, which is 16 divided by 2. We have 8 inches. I marked it. I'm going to take my armhole circumference of 8.5, which is bust span, divided by 6 plus 1.5. So I marked it, 8.5. I'll draw a straight line. After drawing the straight line, the next thing I'm going to do is to take my shoulder slant of 3/4. You can use 1 inch for your shoulder slant as well. The neck width I'm working with is 4.5. So I'm going to mark 4.5 at that point. After marking 4.5, I'm going to connect it to the shoulder slant, okay? So after connecting it, the next thing is to complete the armhole, okay? So at that line, we are going to extend the line, and then we are going to place our tape from that point and then come up by 3 to make a curve at that armhole area. This part is not actually necessary, but let's just do it as a guide. Now the next thing we are going to do, remember the neck width we took 4.5. So we are coming to the upper part, okay, and mark 4.5. We are going to connect those two dots. So after connecting it, we are done with our drafting for now. So let's cut what we have out to proceed. So after cutting, I opened up the pattern. So this is what it looks like. So the next thing we are going to do is to take a slant from that tip to the shoulder area. See how I placed my ruler? Take your slant in that manner. Then that slant that we've marked, we are going to cut that upper part out. We don't need it. So after cutting it out, the next thing I'm going to do now is to measure half an inch inward. See that part I pointed from that shoulder, go down by half an inch. The essence of going down by half an inch is to use it to join the shoulder at that part. Now we are going to take the neck depth at this point. I marked 6 inches. After marking 6 inches, I'm going to connect it from that point, okay, to the dot that I made, the neck depth. So after connecting it, we are going to cut. So the way we are going to cut it is just to slit through to that point of 6 and then to that half an inch inwards. So after slitting that point, I had to check if it was okay. So if you check and it is okay, you don't need to slit through again. But if it is not okay, please, you can slit more. So after slitting, this is what we have. So we are going to fold it up to see what it looks like, okay? So after folding, this is what we have. See how it is looking? Very beautiful, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is to check if what I have, the slant, is enough. I realized that it was not enough, so I had to come down to 7.5. Remember it was 6 inches, now I made it to 7.5. And when I folded that point, I saw that it was too pointy, so I'm going to use my ruler to reduce it a bit, okay? So I'm going to place the ruler straight and then I'm going to draw a straight line. So after drawing the straight line, I'm going to cut off the down part, the excesses, okay? So see what I did? I held it with my hand and then I'm going to cut it out. It is time for us to cut it on our fabric. So now we are going to work with 3 yards of crepe fabric and then we are going to work with half yard of the yellow. So we folded the fabric into two, 1.5 yard into two. So after folding into two, the sleeve length we have is about 28 inches. So after folding into two, the next thing we are going to do is to bring out our pattern. Okay, so this is the pattern that we cut earlier. What I'm going to do is to place it on fold. Okay, I'm going to fold it into two again, and then I'm going to pin the shoulder. So I'm using my masking tape to secure it so that it will stay in place. So after securing it very well, I'm going to secure the side as well. Use your masking tape to secure it or your pin. Then after that, I am now going to place it on fold on the fabric. You see what I did? So I'm going to place it at that point, and then I'm going to use my pin to secure it. So after securing it with my pin, this is what I have. So that's the shoulder line, right? So you see that shoulder line, I'm going to take it straight all the way down to that point of 28 inches, which is the length that we are having at that upper part. Okay, so after drawing the line up to that point, the shoulder slant we took was 3/4. So I'll go to that edge and I'm going to mark 1 inch. You can still use the 3/4, there is no problem. Now I'm connecting from that shoulder slant, okay, down to that 1 inch that we took. So next we are going to adjust our fabric. I'm going to take the sleeve circumference of 11 inches including seam allowance. So after marking 11 inches, I'm going to draw that line inwards. See what I did? I drew it inwards. That becomes our bust area. So from that point, I'm going to go in by 7 inches. So I'll place my tape from the starting point and mark my true waist length of 17 inches. I will bring down that 7 inches line and make a curve. Okay, so after making the curve, I'm going to adjust my fabric. So from the true waist length, okay, I'm going to place my tape in a slant form to make an A-line shape. So the down part of the gown is not straight, so I'm going to connect it all the way down. You can make use of your ruler, okay? So let's cut what we have all out. So now we are going to work on the upper part. So that's the shoulder, right? So from the tip of that shoulder where we went inwards, see what I did? See where I placed my ruler? Place yours in that pattern and then draw a straight line all up, okay? So now after drawing the straight line, we are going to cut. So I'm using the tip of the neckline, okay? That tip of the neckline, I took it straight all the way down to enter that line that we drew up, and then I'm going to cut it through to the shoulder slant. So I'm going to cut it all through, all the way down to that point of 28. So after cutting it all the way down, we are now going to open our fabric for us to cut the neckline proper. So this part is tricky. Watch it again if you don't understand. So now I am going to adjust that part very well. After adjusting it very well, the next thing I'm going to do is to notch the parts that have the opening. Okay, so see how I'm going to do it. I'm going to notch that point. Okay, so you see what I did? Make sure you notch yours because it is going to serve as a guide for you. So after cutting that part, I'm going to notch it. So after notching it, we are done with this pattern. Okay, so next I'm going to open it up, and then after opening it up, I'm going to mark the midpoint. We have 10 inches. I'm going to mark 5 inches for the center to enable me to place my pattern at the center as well. Okay, so I am placing center to center. I'll use my pin to secure it. So after securing it very well, I am going to pin that shoulder part, and then I'm going to make a notch at that point as well. Okay, So you see how I'm doing it. I am taking my time to pin it very well. So after pinning, this is what we have. So the next thing we are going to do is to cut out the neckline, that opening, okay, for the neck depth. We are going to follow that line and then we are going to cut it out. So I'm going to use my chalk to mark those lines to serve as a guide for me to cut open. So after cutting, we had to remove our pattern. Okay, so that's the notched part. So when you fold the neckline, this is what you are going to get. All right, so we are going to use the yellow fabric to do the facing for this one. So next we are going to fold our remaining 1.5 yards of fabric. After placing it on fold, we are now going to use our pattern. Okay, so I folded the edge, all right, inwards and folded again into two. So I'm going to measure the length of the neck width. So when I measured, I got 5 inches for the neck width. So we are going to remove our pattern and mark 5 inches for the neck width. So after marking 5 inches, I'm going to take the back neck depth of 1.5. I'm going to connect it to the neck width. Next, I'm going to take the shoulder slant of 1 inch, okay? I'm going to connect that 1 inch all the way down to the neck width. So after connecting it, I am going to take the sleeve circumference. So the sleeve circumference we used was 11 inches, so I'm going to mark 11 inches. Then from that line of 11 inches, which is the bust line, I'm going to go inwards by 7 inches. Next, I'm going to place my tip from the starting point. I'm going to mark the true waist length of 17. I'll bring down that line and then I'm going to make a curve. After making the curve, I'm going to adjust my fabric and then from that true waistline, I'm going to place my tape in a slant form and then I'm going to connect that line in an A-line pattern. So after connecting it, we are done with the back panel. We are going to cut what we have. So after cutting it, we are going to cut the facing for that of the front. So after cutting the back neckline, we are going to cut the fitting for the front. So from the center, we are going to mark 9 inches on both sides. So we are working with 18 inches by 18 inches. So after cutting the yellow 18 by 18 inches, I had to place the front panel on top of it, just the way you've seen it. I used my pin to secure it. So I'm going to follow that shape to cut what I have out, okay? So after cutting, this is what the other part looks like. Okay, so the shoulder part, remember we notched and went in by half an inch, so I had to notch it on the yellow as well. So we are going to follow the shape to sew it. Let's head over to our sewing machine. So it is time for us to sew. We are starting with the back panel. Okay, so we are using black bias to turn the neckline for that of the back. So after sewing the back neckline, the next thing we are going to do is to sew the front neckline. So this is the front neckline. That point part I'm pointing, we are going to follow the shape to sew it all the way down. So after sewing, we are going to notch round all those areas we've sewn. We are going to turn it, iron it. This is how it is looking. So next we are going to join the two shoulder for the front and the back panel. We are joining it from the front side first of all to have that professional finish. Okay, so we are going to sew the shoulder from the front side for the two parts. After sewing it, we are going to turn it over to the wrong side and sew. After joining the shoulder for the two sides, we are going to use our sewing machine to sew the facing. Okay, so that facing, the down part of it, the rough edges, we are going to fold it. Okay, so after joining, this is what we have. So we are sewing the inner belt for the front panel. Okay, so you are free to cut any length of your choice. You can use 23 inches by 1.5, fold it into two and sew it the way I am doing it. After sewing it, turn it and then give it a good press. Okay, so next is the front panel. Okay, place your tape from the shoulder and take the true waist length of 16 inches. So from that true waist length, after marking 16 inches, I measured what I have. I got 45 divided by 2, 22.5, which is the midpoint. I marked it. So from that midpoint, I marked 7 inches on both sides. So at that point, I marked the 7 inches. I'm going to place my rope and then I'm going to sew it down. So I'm using my sewing machine to sew it down. After sewing it down, the next thing we are going to do is to couple the sides of the gown from the front side. Okay? So after coupling the gown from the front side, the next thing we are going to do is to turn it to the wrong side and then start the coupling from the wrong side proper with half an inch. Okay, so this is the side of it. So we have turned it to the back side. We are going to couple it properly. This is to enable us to have that perfect boutique standard finishing. Okay, so after sewing it, the next thing we are going to do is to hem the downside of the gown. Okay, remember the front length and the back length is not the same. So the back length is longer than the front length by 7 inches because of that 7 inches we used for the neck collar. Okay, so we are going to make a curve at that down part from the side for it to align, while the down part will be longer, as you can see from the picture. Okay, so after trimming the downside a little bit for it to have that curvy shape, we are going to fold the downside with half an inch and then we are done. You'll see the final result. So we are done with the gown. Okay, so this is what the neckline is looking like. Okay, so we are done. Our model will wear it for us to see. This gown is perfect on my model. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this tutorial helpful, please subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our weekly uploads. Please watch the next video on your screen to keep learning with Lois, Addah.